Hi folks, Santo Sessa here. I have your latest real estate numbers. Now normally I report them weekly for months now. I've been reporting them weekly, but because the Toronto Real Estate Report has produced their latest monthly report for June, I'm going to keep this reporting for the month and we'll get some really accurate trends over what's happened on a monthly basis, month over month. Before I get into that, please subscribe below, hit the bell button. I love to hear your comments. Agree with me, disagree, be neutral, doesn't matter. Just comment below and we'll get the conversation going. Let's get started. So this is the report from the Toronto Real Estate Board. It's not the whole report, it's 27 pages. I'm just talking about page 1, a quick summary. When we look at June this year and we compare to June last year, for everything being traded on the Toronto Real Estate Board across the GTA, sales versus last year, June, sales are down 1.4%. That's really basically the same. And remember, not long ago, our sales were way lower than what they were this time last year. Average sold price is up 11.9%. So we are ahead of last year's average sold price. We're doing better. When we look at listings, listings are up from where they were last year this time. So overall, it seems we're doing really well, which is not at all what the real estate experts have been predicting. Let's take a closer look, and I'm breaking it down by month. So we know that we are overall doing better than what we did this time last year, but going from month to month, here, sales jumped up by almost 90%. It's almost double. When we look at how many properties have been selling for $2 million or more, that's the numbers here in the yellow boxes. Last month we sold 365 properties across the GTA at $2 million or more. Now I'm only going back here about a month and a bit, and that's by far the highest month that we have here. And you've got to go way back to find a month where we sold more than 365 properties over $2 million. Sales jumped up by 7.8% to 930,000. The theme of this report is the real estate experts warn. Well, I got to tell you, when we went into the health crisis, right away the real estate experts have been saying how terrible things were going to be. Sales dropped, prices, not so much. We did have a drop here in April, but boom, right away quickly, they bounced back up. Sales, however, were extremely low, and they stayed low for a few months. But here's what the real estate experts are not telling you. This average sold price of $930,000 for the month of June, that's the highest average sold price ever. How come none of these real estate experts are telling you that? When you confront them and say, I know you're talking about how terrible everything is going to be, but here's what's happening right now, they say, oh, just wait. And I don't know, how long we got to wait for? When we take a closer look at the city of Toronto, and this is now confining there just to the city of Toronto, sales are up also about 90%. Average sold price is up 7%. And this average sold price of a little over $1 million is the highest average sold price ever in the city of Toronto. I know there's a lot of people out there thinking, I'm going to wait, or 2 months ago they were saying, in April, when they were at the lowest, they were saying, just wait a little bit more, prices are coming down. To me, it looks like, from here, it looks like you missed the bottom. And you should get on board and understand what's happening. Stop listening to the headlines in the news. This is what's really happening right now in the streets. Let's take a closer look at Vaughan. Sales are up almost 80%, so Vaughan's in line with the city of Toronto. Up 80% sales, and average sold price, $1,154,000. That's up 4.8% from last month. Also, the highest average sold price in Vaughan ever. I can't stress that enough. That's the highest price ever. Let's take a look at all three put together. Treb, City of Toronto, Vaughan, for the last 2 months has shown an increase, and these numbers are above, higher than what they were at the beginning of the year. And at the beginning of the year, we had record-setting prices, but by telling you these are the highest price ever, they've been the highest prices since Treb started recording these numbers. Taking a closer look now and zeroing in on just detached properties. Sales, May to June, more than doubled. Average sold price jumped up 7.1%. Now, for sure, the volume of $2 million price properties or more, the amount that we've sold, have a lot to do with the average prices jumping up, for sure. This average price of $1,523,000, that's for the City of Toronto, just detached homes. That's the highest we've seen in 39 months, since April 2017. Looking at Vaughan detached properties, sales almost doubled at 91% higher, and average sold price jumped up 3.6%. So, experts were saying when we went into this health crisis how terrible things were going to be. And they were for a little while. Sales for April were terrible. Average sold price dropped way down. But they've bounced back extremely. It's aggressive, the amount of how quick things have bounced back when it comes to prices, sales, listings. We're basically on par or better than what we were at the beginning of the year. Taking a look at condos. Condos is a whole different story. What I talked about before was up this way. Condos is kind of going the other way. So, sales, however, have jumped up, almost doubled. And this is for Vaughan. Sorry, these are Vaughan condos. Average sold price has dropped. Now, there's only 35 sales, so it's tough to say, but the volume of listings versus the amount that people are buying, the gap between, there's more and more inventory on the market, which is forcing more competition, which is bringing prices down. Taking a look at City of Toronto condos. Sales jumped up by 73%. Average sold price is basically the same, but we're seeing the same thing here. We're seeing inventory starting to increase. We're seeing more and more condo properties sitting there. Sales are not keeping up. Average sold price is still above than what it was last year. It's higher by 5.6%. But if buyers don't get on board and start buying more of these condos, you're going to see the inventory creep up. I've been saying this now for a few months, and you're starting to see the trend there. Right now it's pretty steady, and hopefully it goes the other way, but this is what's going on right now. Here's the moral of the story. It boils down to supply and demand in a big way, and public sentiment has a lot to do with the demand side. Everybody wants to buy a home. Can they afford it is one question. Can they live where they want to live? That's another question. But in general, if you say, hey, would you like to buy a home? Even if you've got one, the answer is yes, I'd like to buy another one. So people want to buy a home, but can they actually do that? Well, that's where the demand comes in. Can they actually go out and do it? Interest rates are low. Immigration right now, quiet. However, Canada is very committed and understands that immigration is a big part of our economic recovery. So as soon as they can, they're going to open up the floodgates there. But we are getting immigration from other provinces coming into Ontario. So that'll fix itself, the immigration side, which puts a pressure on demand. Well, these are the months of inventory, and this is for all of Treb, all home types, a general summary. If you're thinking that we're in this health crisis, it's bad out there, the real estate market is having a tough time, you're mistaken. Months of inventory since April, and April was where our price was the lowest. Months of inventory has been dropping every single month. And right now, it's down to 1.6. If you remember just a few years ago, 2016, 2017, where we had multiple offers, people lining up the door, and you put the sign, and people are buying just as the sign is going up, and it was just a crazy time. That's the same kind of months of inventory we had back then. So at a 1.6 months of inventory, we don't have overall a lot of inventory. If we take condos out of this equation, months of inventory for freehold properties will be even lower. But as months of inventory are dropping, prices are going up. And remember that $930,000 is the highest average sold price ever. Listen, I'm on the road. I'm working with clients out there. When I show them some of these charts sometimes before we get started, they find it hard to believe. Then we look at a property, they see that there's multiple people looking at it. Then we put an offer, they see that they're competing. They start to believe what I'm telling them. I'm not making these numbers up. They come right from the Toronto Real Estate Board. If we talk about the future, hey, who knows? But just remember, the real estate experts, a lot of them are, I guess the best way to describe them are like the weathermen. They can be wrong 75% of the time and never lose their job. And all they do is make another prediction, and eventually one of them is going to be right. So if they said when we go into the health crisis, prices are coming down, well, for the month of April, they would have been right. But so far, they've been wrong every time after that, and now they're talking about the future. I don't know what's going to happen, but right now, things are extremely strong in the GTA real estate market. Again, my name is Santo Sessa with RE/MAX Premier. Subscribe below, hit the help button. Looking forward to hearing your comments below. Have a great day. Enjoy this awesome weather that we're having.